Welcome to today's meeting of the Constitution Committee. As usual, this meeting is being broadcast live to the public. For those not able to watch live, the webcast will be recorded and made available for viewing on the County Council's website after the meeting. We have received apologies from Mr Rushton, Mr Breckham, Mr Bedford and Mr Shepherd, and I welcome Mr Ashman, Mrs Posner, Mr O'Shea, who are attending as their substitutes. I move that the minutes of the meeting held on the 21st of January are taken as read, confirmed and signed. Is that agreed? Item 2 is question time. We've had no questions. Item 3, questions asked under Standing Order 7.3 and 7.5. There are none. Item 4, to advise of any other items which the Chairman has decided to take as urgent. There are none. Item 5, declarations of interest. Does anyone have any declarations of interest? Okay, on to our first substantial item. So item 6, report of the Independent Remuneration Panel members' allowance. So Graham Wardle, Head of Member Services, will present this report.
Thank you, Chairman. The purpose of this report is to deliver the report of the Independent Remuneration Panel, which met in January. Just to remind members, the panel's made up of Michael Pearson, who's the chair, is a former bursar and finance director of Loughborough University, Jane Kelly, who's a former solicitor working with various local authorities, and Gordon Grimes, a former head of revenue and customs area manager. The panel was asked to look at paying special responsibility allowances to the chairman of the local pension committee and board. These two chairmanships haven't received an allowance and never received allowance, so that's why the panel's been asked to convene. Paragraphs 9 to 15 of the panel's report sets out the context of the review. However, it should be noted that chairman of these bodies have become more complex over the last few years, due to greater scrutiny in ensuring the funds are invested in an ethically and environmentally friendly way. In addition, all panel members of the committee and the board have to undergo training, and certainly the chairman of the local pension committee has to sit on the central fund and determine how the assets are deemed to be delivered and developed through the county council. The panel, when it was considering the review, also considered the context of the special responsibility allowances within the members' allowance scheme, and they were minded to make a recommendation that the chair of the local pension committee receives an allowance of £5,290, which is the same as the chairman of the overview and scrutiny committee, and the chair of the pension board be paid £2,318, which is the same as the chairs of the constitution committee and the development control and regulatory board. The panel also recommended that if council agrees and this committee is to be forwarded on to council, that these two allowances be index linked like all the other allowances, basic and special responsibility. And that, just to remind members, the indexation is linked to, in effect, a level of the percentage increase on employee pay award. The panel also reviewed the travel and subsistence allowances and recommended no changes. Therefore, the committee is asked to consider the panel's report and determine what recommendations it wishes to put forward to the county council, which will make the ultimate decision or wishes to these increases. Questions?
Thank you. Any questions from members? James?
Not a question, more a comment. This is probably one of the big, since I've been the Conservative group, it's probably one of the big things that's been mentioned to me consistently, the sheer amount of work that's involved in those roles. And up to now, not getting any sort of a special allowance for it. So I'm supportive of the change.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay, so I would say I'm also in support of it. I know the training, and it is a very intense and very long committee meetings as well, isn't it? So I'm happy to support that. So the recommendations are set out on page 17 for the allowance for the local pension committee, the chairman of that, the chairman of the local pension board. The new special responsibility will be index linked, and that the current level of travel and subsistence allowances remained unchanged. Is everyone in agreement with that? Okay, thank you very much. On to item 7, the County Council elections 2025 scale of election expenses, pages 19 to 24. And again, Graham, you're going to take us through this.
Yep. Purposes of this report is to seek the Constitution Committee approval with regard to the scale of fees for the county council election. Just to remind everybody, the chief executive is the returning officer for the county council elections, and officers in the districts are appointed as deputy returning officers and do the majority of them on our behalf. County council meets the fees and the costs of the elections, and those are set in line in Appendix 1 in line with the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government Election Claims Unit. The cost of the elections calculated to be around £1.8 million, and the Director of Resources has been consulted. The committee is therefore asked to approve the scheme from the 1st of April to cover the period up to the 31st of March, and to authorise the Chief Executive to fix a scale between the 1st of April 26 and the next county council election, i.e. and recommendations are set out in the report.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? It is what it is at the end of the day, isn't it? We hold the elections, we have to pay for it. So yeah. So the recommendation is that the scale of expenses attached to the report be used for the county council elections to be held on the 1st of May 2025, and any subsequent by-elections held before the 31st of March 2026. And that the chief exec be authorised to fix a scale for the purpose of by-elections occurring between the 1st of April 2026 and the next county council elections. Is that everyone in agreement? Yeah. On to item 8. Any other items which the Chairman decides to take as urgent? There are none. Item now, exclusion of the press and public. I move that under Section 10A of the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the meeting during consideration of the following item of business on the grounds that it involves a likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraphs 1 and 3 of Part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972. Everyone in agreement? Thank you. We'll just turn off the webcast.